The 20-year anniversary of Hurricane Katrina is here, and residents across the coast were affected. Power companies needing to restore power. Storm Director Stephen Shruff joins us on the aftermath. It's been great to sit here and chit-chat with you, and it's awesome to have you in studio today. So I just want you to explain, Mississippi Power had so much influential things to do with the coming back of Hurricane Katrina, and I want to just ask the impact that it had for Mississippi Power, just in general.
Well, it was devastating for South Mississippi. For Mississippi Power, every one of our customers were out of power, and our facilities were heavily damaged. The power lines, we had to replace over 9,000 poles. 3,000 miles of wire had to be repaired in some way. We had relocated our storm center to Plant Watson, expecting that to be a safe place, and we got 19 feet of water there. No one expected that. Cars floating around. So it was very impactful to our facilities and to the customers and communities we serve.
Absolutely. And so there's things that you do, obviously, before a storm. I'm sure that's changed now because of Katrina and the things that y'all do to prepare for storms. But before Katrina made landfall, what did that preparation look like for y'all?
Well, our company's been around a long time. And so we've dealt with hurricanes a long time. And I could remember with Katrina, it wasn't supposed to come here, right? And it was, I believe it was a Friday afternoon. A few of us were meeting on something unrelated, and we got word, hey, they say Katrina's coming to us. And we were kind of awestruck because it was going through the south part of Florida, if you recall, and it was not supposed to come here, and it started building. And so we started going into game mode. You practice for this all the time, and then when you hear this storm's coming to you, your adrenaline raises, and you just kind of focus on what you have to do to be prepared. And so all weekend we watched the forecast, we worked with the local emergency management agencies to get better intel, and we prepared. First you get your employees ready at home so they can come to work. And that's what we did. And then you start thinking about how many resources you need to bring on. And this storm jumped up to a Category 5 shortly before landfall, and no one anticipated that, but you're preparing for where you're going to put people to start responding quickly. And
have y'all seen any differences from after Katrina with the way that y'all prepare, or just in general?
With every major event, we learn from it. We do like a debriefing, see how can we get better, and we were fortunate with. It's a devastating hurricane anytime you think about it. But the year prior, Hurricane Ivan struck one of our sister companies, and we responded and learned a lot from what they saw there with flooding. And we put some things in place from that, like base camps. We prepared to have these base camps or staging sites where we could house a lot of resources from outside. And then Katrina hits a year later. So that's one example of something that we prepared for then. But we've continued to prepare. Our system, we continually try to improve it and harden it. And over the years, we have installed literally hundreds of automated reclosers. We now have a very strong self-healing network. 96% of our customers are part of a self-healing network. And what that means is you're out of power a shorter time. Fewer customers will be impacted when something like a tree falls through the line, or lightning strikes, or a car hits a pole. And then if you're out of power, there's a very good chance you're going to be on within minutes. And then there's going to be a portion where you have to send folks out there to get the wire up. But our system is much more robust and resilient. During Katrina, we saw a dozen substations flood. We have taken steps in all of those substations. We assessed all of them for flooding, and we've moved our relays, which are like the computers, the smart devices that operate the substation equipment, and we've moved them into a hardened facility and raised that hardened facility. So now if you do flood in an event like Katrina, the technology that takes so long to replace, it'll be protected. In another effort we have going is hardening our transmission lines and distribution lines. We've been hardening transmission lines for over 20 years. And that means putting concrete and steel poles in the ground so they're more resilient and building a great B construction. And in the last few years, we have started hardening our distribution lines here along the coast. It'll be a long process, but we are taking what are wood poles now on our main lines and changing them out to concrete or steel. So that makes a more resilient system. It doesn't mean when a Katrina comes, the power won't go out.
Right.
But when the tree falls through the line and the wire breaks, hopefully the poles don't break.
Yes.
So then you can restore lights a lot faster.
A lot faster. Well, we thank you so much for all that y'all did during the time of Katrina with the restoration efforts and what you continue to do for Mississippi and especially here on the Gulf Coast. And thank you for joining me today. But unfortunately, that is all of the time that we have for the day.